Talk to me about the difference between contention and conflict. Because we're told by President Nelson, gotta be a peacemaker, contention's of the devil.
Now, I'm not talking about peace at any price.
And I think too often as members of the church, we take that to mean, well, then I can't communicate with somebody something that's a hard, difficult conversation because it's deemed as contention, when I would say that it's actually conflict and contention are two different things.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the place to start, is that contention's of the devil, but contention is not always conflict.
What's the difference?
Well, conflict is when you have two opposing points of view. We have such a strong tradition in councils. I mean, if there's no conflict in your councils, you're probably doing something wrong.
Yeah,
right?
There's no real discussion happening.
Yeah, President Eyring mentioned that early on, when he was called, or at some point, there's a clip out there online where he was just shocked at the debate he heard behind the scenes.
When I first came as the president of Rick's College, I attended my first meeting that I'd ever been in, watching the general authorities of the church, the first presidency and others, running a meeting. I had been studying for the 10 years I was a professor at Stanford how you make decisions in meetings, in groups. So I got a chance, here's my chance to see the way the Lord's servants do it. I looked at it with my Harvard, Stanford eyes, and I thought, this is the strangest conversation here are the prophets of God, and they're disagreeing in an openness that I had never seen in business. In business, you're careful when you're with the bosses, Here they were just, and I watched this process of them disagreeing, and I thought, good heavens. I thought revelation would come to them all, and they'd all see things the same way in some sort of, and it was more open than anything I had ever seen in all the groups I'd ever studied in business. I was just dumbfounded. But then after a while, the conversation cycled around and they began to agree. And I saw the most incredible thing, that here are these very strong, very bright people, all with different opinions. Suddenly the opinions began to just line up, and I thought, I've seen a miracle. I've seen unity come out of this wonderful, open kind of exchange that I'd never seen in all my studies of government or business or anywhere else. This is what it claims to be. This is the true church of Jesus Christ. Revelation is real, even in what you call the business kinds of settings.
And so there's nothing wrong with that conflict of saying, like, no, I see it differently, right?
Yeah.
And I remember it's really important for a leader to facilitate that. Oftentimes as a bishop, I would say to my counselors, you guys, some of my favorite words is when you say, Bishop, I think I disagree with you. Like, oh, I love that. The leader has to lead out with establishing that cultural norm of like, no, we disagree in here, and that's okay, because revelation is spread among us. I think that's Elder Bednar, and conflict would get awkward, but it's actually necessary to reach deeper revelation.